Sam, probably need to start with an injury given the timing of the season. What's the latest on Will Day?
You don't have to start on injury at all, but fair enough. So he had an X-ray already, so he got taken away and had the X-ray and no break, so good news. But that's not enough information, so he'll have other tests tomorrow, CTs or MRIs or whatever the medical team decide. But no break is, originally we thought probably there was something broken or whatever, but no break, so more information tomorrow.
And, Jack Scrimshaw had that finger at the end?
Yeah, popped his finger, so not sure. So I'm not sure if that was a real... Sometimes they can be nasty and sometimes they can be completely fine and they come back on, but his was a little bit worse than that, so we decided we didn't want to bring him back out. So again, he'll have an X-ray and see what's happening there and get more information the next day or two.
What was your impressions of how, I guess, the team, it was such a red-hot start and how they responded, especially after Will went down in such pain? It could have easily rattled sort of everything.
Yeah, it was a good lesson game for us. Our best was really good. Our first quarter, we're obviously moving the ball pretty well and scoring pretty freely and played some really good footy. And in the second quarter, they obviously changed a couple of things. They brought a bit more intensity and we weren't able to win our contest. I think they took 8 contested marks through a period of the game. We just weren't able to win enough contests to give ourselves a chance. We weren't able to get enough pressure on the way that they played. And if you think about where we're at right now, every game, as I've said, every game matters so much to us right now. We're in elimination finals every single week. So we take the points and we bank the win, and we know we get some confidence that our best is good enough and very good. But we also know that when we don't play to our best, then we can get pulled apart, which we did at different periods of today.
Last week you sat here and said you're a little bit disappointed with the last quarter against Carlton. You didn't sort of put the foot on the throat as much. Are you similar about the last 3 quarters today?
I mean, particularly the second quarter. I think if you look at the game holistically, you kind of have an understanding of it being a bit of a challenge. It was a different sort of a game. We weren't able to put enough pressure on them. We weren't able to get enough potency inside. I think we had 40 shots. We're over 40 shots on goal, but we weren't able to really put them away scoreboard-wise. I mean, it sounds like a funny thing to say from where we were earlier this year to not be as happy with the finishing. I didn't think our forward entries were as consistent as we have been. So there were some challenges in the way that we played and the way that they defended. But I said to the players, we've got to win every week, and we did what we needed to do today.
How valuable has Jack Gunston been in the back end of this year in terms of his experience, especially with that young group?
Yeah, I mean, Jack's been, for the whole year, even early in the year when he wasn't playing, I was super consistent in his value isn't just on the field. It's obviously fantastic when he comes out and he kicks 5. We'll definitely take that, don't get me wrong. But his value is through the week. There was the last shot at goal from Kelshar, he held it like a left. And he goes, no, that's too far out. That's a snap, because he was sitting on the bench. And he goes, no, that's too far out for the left foot snap. And then, sure enough, he goes back and has a set shot and kicks the goal. So you think about all the impact that he's having on other forwards and the way we're moving the ball, and it's quite valuable to have him and Luke Bruce down there being able to generate, a bit of the footy smarts that you need to play in that area of the ground.
Speaking of Cal Shadir, kicks 3 today. For a young player like him, getting towards the end of his first season, he still continues to front up each week. How pleasing is it to see what he's bringing?
Yeah, I mean, I've been wrapped with Kelshire. I think the thing when you watch Hawthorn games, you probably value him more than the people who don't watch and just look at a stat sheet. I think, he always lands on his feet. He always is putting pressure on. He's a chaser. He wants to do the team things, and great that he has 5 shots on goal and kicks 3 again today, and hopefully it's a big week for him. But he's been really valuable, even in the games where he's been statistically quieter. His impact in the air to make sure that our smalls get a good look at the ball has been far more than you would expect from a 19-year-old key forward.
Luke Bruce coming in at quarter time like he did, is that as much? Is that the max his body can take? He's like, obviously you've got him in as a sub to ideally bring him on with a quarter or so to go. What scope does he have to play, I guess, with his body, and what's the max output he can play this year?
No, I mean, they're quite confident. We always have the discussion about the sub, and with Luke in particular, when it's him, that how much footy can he play, and if we got an injury early, is he fine with that? And the medical team have always said, and Peter Burge has always said he's fine. If we get an injury in the first 5 minutes, he can play the whole game, absolutely. Will he back that up every single week for multiple weeks in a row? That's where he might get himself into some physical trouble, and he might need a bit of a spell. But be interested to see how he pulls up from the game. But I was actually, well, you're never happy for a player to get injured. Luke getting a bit more game time in this one is actually good. It's good for him and good for us because we get a bit of an assessment on what his body can handle and whether or not we could play him as the full game, which we may do next week.
What did you make of the Graham late sort of spoil on Cam McKenzie? Anything in it, do you reckon?
No, I don't. I actually haven't. I don't know about it. Sorry, I don't. Oh, was that early in the game? Oh, he had the HIH. What's it called? HIH test. I didn't re-look at it. It was I think he got a 50 and kicked a goal and came back on. So, yeah, I'll leave. I don't get involved in those ones.
Would you have an issue if Kel Shadir was overlooked again for a Rising Star nomination?
They didn't brief me on that. I don't think I'm allowed to. I don't think I'm allowed to have too much to say, but I was a little bit disappointed this week because I thought he was really important for us last week against Carlton, and he was obviously a prominent player in the outcome of today, and I thought he was really important for us. So, fingers crossed.
With Will, was it just the collarbone a concern, or the shoulder, or anything else there? Obviously, he's avoided that break.
Yeah, I actually don't know. He's obviously in a fair bit of pain, and they said it. Clavicle, so I said, does that mean collarbone? And they said collarbone, so straight away I said, I mean, as the coach, you're always thinking, okay, I love Will and I hope he's okay, but he actually can't help us on this moment, so I need to be very focused on what we're doing. I was pretty happy at the end of the game when the doc said that he's no break, so I think we'll support him and see how nasty it is. He could be, I mean, at this stage, the information I have, he could play next week or he might not play again for the season. We actually have no idea. You just have to wait another 24 hours.
Chia was laid out last week with his calf tightness. Didn't get up for this week. Are you expecting he might play next weekend?
Yeah, interesting one with Chenkworth. I mean, he really very conservative last week. I thought he could have played. He still was training and we went the really conservative and it just sort of stayed hanging around. So he again could play, but really important player for us. And obviously with his injury history, if he was to hurt himself properly, that would probably end his season. And at a time like this, and particularly with now we get, Will and Jack Scrim coming off today, so we ended with 3 on the bench. If he was playing in this game, it would have really exposed him and meant we wouldn't have wanted to do that. So it would have put extra load onto the other boys. So I think we've managed it well, and hopefully he'll be back sooner.
Sam, noticed last week, I'm not sure if you did it this week, that you get amongst the team song. Were you in there today, and why do you do that? A lot of coaches.
I thought
choose to
just all the
avoid team
coaches,
song.
if I'm really honest, I just thought all the coaches did that. So I've always done it. I don't know any different. Thanks for noticing that.
Are you going to try and get Ariane Titmus in the next couple of weeks, given what she provided during the week?
Well, I joked with the coaches that there was so much gold in her words, and we obviously filmed it with our own people, and you could just cut it up and use it all the time because of the information that she has. And I mean, the work ethic that you have to be an international swimmer is unbelievable for us mortals who watch what they do on the world stage. Is very different to our game. Obviously, very individual, a lot of alone time with your head under the water. So you look at the work ethic that she's produced. If that can inspire our players in any way, then obviously we'll continue to use it. But I think when you have Hawks fans of that calibre, you try and use them wherever you can.
We'll just take one more.
How do you continue to keep the momentum going? Obviously, it's been a big run from 0-5 to where the team sits now. How do you continue to keep it going? Obviously, next week, North Melbourne, and then hopefully finals coming up after that.
Yeah, I mean, the reality of the players know what the reality of the season is. So I think now we win, we're in. So it's not, we sort of, last week it was like we need win, and that might not even be enough, these games. But I think now the way some of the other games have gone, if we win, we play finals. So if I have to help with the motivation, I think we're probably not deserving to be there. I think our players will be heavily motivated to make sure that we get an opportunity which, many thought was going to be a fair way away. And the opportunity that's at our door is super exciting, obviously. But I don't think we're a group that at this point are willing or have had the lack of mental discipline to look too far ahead. We haven't had that luxury all year. So this week will be another final for us.
Thanks, guys.